I love this is like our fireside area, right? We're
Yes.
not in the main
So,
stage. It gives us a chance to delve right in. The first thing I wanted to talk to you about is um, the mining sector is not new. I talked about this morning about the first discovery in 1930, Ma'aden formed in 1979. Your company's pretty new in the relative history of mining. 2008, production in 2012. But there's a burst of activity with you as CEO today, right? Do you want to start with where you're going? Because you have a split of different products, zinc, copper, gold, a bit of silver. The IPO is giving you financing to expand your production. How do you fit into the bigger picture in the country of where we're going in the mining sector, Yahya?
thank you, John. Really, Mac discovered 1967 and it's only start exploration 12 and production, sorry, 2008 and production 12. It's exactly the same as Ma'aden size. It took a long time to reach to that stage. From IBO point of view, yes, we get a lot of money and really we spend it on projects. We are now in expansion Al Masana, couple zinc projects. It will be in commissioning in August this year, and the remaining money we'll spend it all in exploration license as we get only this year around 7 licenses. And really thank to the ministry, they've done a good job comparing to the history, and all the money will be spent on exploration for the next 5 years.
So you have 7 licenses, but 2 were pretty new. It's interesting because they had the mining law, but lo and behold, the pandemic got in the way. So post-pandemic now, we're unlocking the licenses. What does it mean in terms of future development for you?
And I think the issuing the mining law 2020, that's, I think they hold all the license. And then pandemic came, and then I think they release all the license now. And that's really give us a chance now to push a lot for exploration.
Good. You and I had a really robust conversation on Zoom talking about the future of the industry here. But I think it's really valuable to hear from a CEO in practice. So there's Ma'aden and there's a MAC now. You told me you think there's going to be another 3 to 5 more domestic companies. And what is the role of the international players, Yahya? How do you collaborate with international players and the domestic development that's taking place? Is it open to everybody? And do we need all those players in the country, in the kingdom?
Well, I think, yes, the government opened the door for everybody, local and foreigner. But the first thing before that, why the people coming to us? A stable government, commitment to mining in 2020-30, as government pushing GDP to 70 billion 2023. This is a big jump from 17 today. Yes, we need foreign investors, we need technology, we need to share all those experiences so we can expand 1.3 trillion as announced by the Minister for the Future. Yes, really, we need to collaborate all really, local, foreign, to can achieve this 1.3 trillion is a big number, and we have to explore it, and it will take time to reach to that future, inshallah.
Yeah, it's interesting you say time. One of the things I wanted to talk to you about is patience. And this is a crown prince and prime minister now that is in a hurry to develop. But this is a special industry in the sense, right? Because you have to have the infrastructure, you have to have the education, you've raised money in terms of the finance. But when you talk of patience and in a new sector for the kingdom, what do you mean by that? What does it mean to develop a license, to go into production, to have the infrastructure ready to maximize the potential for a MAC?
Yeah, well, patient, we started exploration. To start any new mine in the world will take about average 10 years. 10 years is high risk. You will spend a lot of money to prove that ore body before we start to production. And then infrastructure and others. Yes, you have to be patient, otherwise 10 years is a long time. But in mining business, I think we all share that 9 to 10 years. And I think AMAC president before me, he said, we need to reduce that gap. But it's need an effort, it's need a work, collaboration, training people to reach to that less than 10 years, I hope. But the average really now is 10 years. From my experience in AMAC, Guyana mine open pit took exactly 9 years. My previous before in Ma'aden, it took 12 years for the Duwayhi mine, for example. So yes, we need patient to cover that risk and do our work in proper time.
Good. As you heard in the previous panels today, there's a lot of discussion about building the Saudi talent for mining. And a lot of people kind of stay out of the industry because they think it's a dirty business or it's a tough business, you're working outside. How are you training the future? You're excited about the fact that 70% of the population is below the age of 35. It's exciting, it offers a great deal of opportunity. How are you bringing the Saudi talent to Amaq and the Ma'adins of the world and the next generation of the mining companies? You're a really solid CEO. I can pick it up from your conversations that we had, but how do you inspiring your workforce?
Really, I have to back to Ma'aden again. In 2012, Ma'aden established a mining society, mining in Arar, to get to high school from those mine sites and train them. And I'm doing the same. Now I have around 50 high school graduates. We send them for 2 years in Arar in the north to train for 2 years as underground operators and process. And they will graduate next year and then we'll get them back to the mine site. I think Ma'aden did that for around 16,800 and we are doing the same. And that's the only way. Train them right, get them back to the site and then I think we'll be in the right side for this one. But we have to train those in a very educated place, like the Arar College, and then bring them back as an employee and they start working and the training.
Good. How about the geological engineers? Are you having problems finding the talent?
The same. We get them from King Abdulaziz universities, from Saudi University. Yes, a road mining engineer. Unfortunately, mining have only one department. That's in Jeddah, King Abdulaziz University. But we hire them and we train them as we go. Yes.
Good. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about here, your breakdown in copper, zinc, and gold is what? 35% zinc, 30% copper, 28% gold, and some silver. But you said the IPO offers you the ability to reinvest. What do we expect in terms of how much you get a chance to expand your operations? Yeah.
Well, the money we get around 800 million riyal. So now, so into that, we spend half of it on a new projects called expansion of Al-Masana. We'll increase our copper by 40% and zinc by 80% by August this year. And the remaining money really will put it all in exploration for the license which we get this year.
Good. The other thing I was going to talk to you about, your clients. We had Trafigura, the CEO, on our panel this morning, the CEO of Rio Tinto. Glencore is not represented at the CEO level, but clearly a major player in the world. But most people wouldn't know these are your major clients.
Yes, sir. We sell all our copper to Trafigura and Glencore, and good thing maybe we'll announce next week. We are working on signing a contract with Glencore for the next 2 years for all the production. So that's the best two companies, Glencore and Trafigura, for zinc and smelter in the world. Yep.
Good. What's your responsibility as a CEO in terms of trying to meet the demand expectations of the world today? I mean, if we had this conversation 5 years ago that this would be the third pillar of the kingdom's economy and generating 200,000 jobs and spinning off even more domestic companies, people thought you were crazy. What do you think that's taking place right now? The ambitions of the 2030 plan and the potential for mining. It must be an exciting period of time.
It is very exciting, challenging, not easy, but I think we are going in the right direction. As ministry issuing licenses on time, people spending money in exploration will be there in near future.
Really, it's incredible.
Yep.
Isn't it?
It needs hard work. It needs a lot of work to be done.
Okay, good. The last thing I wanted to talk to you about is giving us a sense of your facility in the south of the country. And we talked about ESG. What have you done for the community in the south? Give us taste to this audience, the mountainous region, the culture, but making sure Amaq fits into that culture. You go down every week as CEO to the south. Give us a taste of what it offers and how you as a company CEO came into a very different culture and how you brought them into the mining industry and to develop it.
Well, first of all, Najran is a very lovely place and encourage everybody to visit. For me, the first time I go to Najran in my life, in the last 29 years, it's a very nice place. Agriculture everywhere, museum everywhere. We as Saudi, we don't know this. I know this only the last 1 year. So our site is around 120 from the nearest airport. What we did, all our 40% Saudi from the same local area. The first thing we did this year after IPO, we get around 100 students. We choose 50 of them. We send them to Arar in north to study for 2 years, and then they're back to work. And that's cost a lot of money. That's cost around 2 million riyal. But government help give you 50% of that. That's a good, and encourage people to use that fund from government. To our local content. Our local content, I can say 70% locally, around 45% from Najran and Asi area. And that's a big money. I talk about 65 million riyal. That's what mining should give to the community around it. I think we are doing fine, but still we have to work more in S, as we said, always in SEG,
social.
more and more and more, yes.
And the governance is there with the new mining law, and the environmental considerations, I would imagine, are a top priority for you, though, right?
It is top priority, and Ministry of Mineral Resource and Ministry of Environment, there is a lot of requirements you have to do, and you have to submit a quarterly report covering air, water, and dust, and everything in detail. If you delay to submit that, they maybe shut down your plant. Yes?
Wow, it's pretty
They are
strict.
very tough those days on this.
Good. I could talk to you for 30 minutes. We had to do what I like to call the speed date fireside chat, but it was a good one. I appreciate your time, your involvement here at the FMF, and he kindly invited me to come and visit the mining facility, so I'm going to do that. And I come here about 5 or 6 times a year at least.
You are welcome.
So we will do that together. Can we give a nice round of applause?
Thanks very much.
Yahia Sangiti, CEO of AMAC, the mining.
George.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.